fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's going in the outside, both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson! Anderson's up top!
Oh my God! Big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's going to get rolled!
It's very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, there we go! Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my God!
God, what?
Assist to the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Rayon Fowler into the outside wall.
Gonna pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's gonna get them all done with. What amazing!
Racely to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is gonna touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save!
Look to the outside as Cronkite goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
I'm trying this contact though.
Slide left of the racetrack. Chris Renner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the outside the Parabolka. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cut back here. Get the run out the Parabolka. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schumacher, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
We're into drop rounds. We're into the crucial crunch time here with the iRacing Grand Prix series. And what's so crucial about this crunch time? Well, every result now is a chance to improve. Not by a lot, but sometimes by a little. For those who have got all 8 weeks under their belt in terms of action, now is the time to try and really capitalize on what is available. Where else to be available at than Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin? It's Road America, which takes round 9 of the championship, and everything is coming up Millhouse for those who want that really large result. We zoom on in with our Google Earth camera and look at exactly where we are. You can see Milwaukee, Detroit, Toronto, Green Bay, and Minneapolis, Minnesota right there as we move into what is effectively blue wall territory once again as we dive on down deep. And there is Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. There is Road America. And honestly, a track which, with the likes of the Moraine sweep into turn 5, you've got, of course, turn 12 at Canada Corner, a key place to get things done. Turn 1 as well can be quite nice. This is a place where action definitely wants to be seen on SimSpeed TV tonight. My name's Jake Sperry. Scott Fountain is joining alongside me here today. And Scott, or Fonty, I should say, we are in qualifying and we are seeing who is going to be putting the best times available on today around a circuit which I think is going to allow a little bit more difference in strategy with the fact that this is high-speed cornering where tyre wear is going to be really much more used.
Oh, better turn my mic on there. Yes, hello everybody and welcome to SimSpeed TV. It's a, yeah, what a fantastic circuit. Road America, one of the trickiest ones to get right because it's so long. You've got so many corners to try and piece together, and to be consistent at this place is certainly key. You can be fast across one lap, but certainly in a race with this length, it's really important that you hit your marks every lap.
And every lap is going to be a vital battle point, as those first times will soon be coming in then on the board, as the likes of which we are seeing Tom Volstra technically has the first right now on a 132.765, comes into this event third in the championship. We are focusing on, though, on the man who has won the last 2 events, Michi Kaiser, who will definitely want a good run late on in the season. He'll make progress to the line. It's a 32.8 from him. It's only good enough for third place. Marco Nurmela has moved up into second position. Branch in fourth, and Thomas Knoll currently in the 5th place. But we've got names who have been up there and have gone and won or challenged for races so far this season. David Toth in the opening couple of rounds of the championship. Avi Roast, the former championship leader. Jarl Teyen, who looked like the favourites in the mid part of the season. And of course, you've got Matt Wood to put into the mix as well, who is now the current championship leader by 20 points.
Yep, some fantastic drivers out here. Yao Ten, certainly a great driver, and yeah, Tom Walstra, we saw him had some pretty good pace last week. A little bit unfortunate to get tangled up in an incident, so be interesting to see how he goes tonight. Certainly putting it on P1 is going to put him in a good position, but these guys do have another lap to go, so let's see how he finishes up on this lap.
Well, coming through the final corner then, turn 14, out on track, the rise up the hill, past the pit entry, which will be forever remembered for Jake Sturgios' dramas, and over the line he goes, and he goes a couple of tenths quicker to a 32.5. Tom Bolstra does love the quick tracks, and pole position for the fiercely forward car is exactly what is needed. There is Nurmela in second position, but we focus a little bit on backwards here to Javi Rose, who will definitely want to try and find a bit more progress in the MRW car. Look to go on through. Bieder up into 8th, Leonardo Marquez up into 7th, but here comes Javi Rose up the hill, searching for time on the board. Well, it's not going to be a representative time or a quick time, so to speak. 43.6 over the line, so that one definitely not counting, going on to a flyer right now through turn number 1. And this is a really tough circuit to set up for. Yes, you need that high speed, but at the same time, with the way that these corners work, Fonty, high downforce wouldn't be such a bad gamble either.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It is all dependent on setup, this track, and yeah, such fast flying corners, but also some very tight and difficult ones. Oh, a bit of a moment there for Javi Rose. This section of the track is a very tough one to get right. Go through the left and then through a big long sweeping right here. Opens up, and then we go into a very slow braking zone. Often you'll find people will lock it up and send it off into the grass in that area. Javi Rose nearly did that. The big long sweeping right. This is where you're going to wear out your tyres, through that point there of the track. And then this here is super fast to get it right. Oh, right to the outside of the track. I don't know if he's going to get an off track on that one, but certainly we're going to see accidents happen there today, that's for sure.
Well, I would have assumed that he would have jammed on the brakes if he had made that mistake and gone out a little bit too wide. So he's on the limit here through Bill Mitchell Bend and into turn 14 to end the lap. How good is this one from Javi Rose? He has been completely committed. Tayan can only go to P10, but Javi Rose making the charge to the line. Only a 33.1 late in the session, so only P7 for Javi Rose. All of a sudden, it's a big shake-up when it comes to this one. Toth and Marquez haven't set times. We are down to the final minute. Marquez is coming to the line right now to try and improve on time, and this one crossing the stripe is a 33.5. That's good enough for P12. Nobody else out now on track can set a representative flying time, so what we are able to do is take ourselves through the starting grid and see how everybody is going to be working out how this place is going to be run. Road America will see Tom Volstra on the pole position, 132.558. He'll have Marco Nurmela alongside him, the Finn on the front row. Michi Kaiser, winner of the last two out on SimSpeed TV. He starts this one from third, with Matt Wood in fourth position, the championship leader, going live into this one. John Miller III's had a great qualifying. He starts from fifth, with Dennis Branch in the blue flag racing car in sixth position. Javi Rose and Christoph Mont are on row 4. Row 5 will see Daniel Bieder for the Positive Sim Racing team, who alongside Tapio Markela in 10th place. Over the page, and row 6 is stacked. Yartean and Jorge Marquez, with Leonardo Marquez, the Brazilian, and Thomas Knoll in 14th place. Cedric Beale, Ewan Meredith, Carlos Villegas, Nathan Parkinson, Anthony Catt, who likes the alternative strategy going on to the the medium compound tires. He starts 19th, and surprises as David Toth couldn't put a time together on the board. He will have to start from the very back of the grid in 20th position, the Hungarian. But we now look over towards racing action. We have ourselves 32 laps, 1 stop required around this place, and this is a track which is very, very narrow to try and deal with. The opening couple of corners are always going to be tough. There's the track conditions that you can see on screen. It's 31 degrees track temp, which is, I would say, about right. And it's only going to get colder as this race goes on at in-sim time of just about 10 to 5 in the evening. So, work to be done, but we are going to be seeing this one. Tom Volstra in the yellow, fiercely forward car will be definitely wanting a good start. Knows that rivals like Wood start from 4th, Rose in 7th, and Tayan all the way back down in 11th place. This is the perfect time. Get the run that is so very much needed to charge on through the field. Inside corner, though, turn number 1 is a right-hander. It favours those on the inside of the grid, but the dirty side of the track, that's going to be another factor that we'll be seeing here as we get ourselves ready for racing action. They have those 2 minutes to grid. They've got themselves about 10 seconds now before the starting procedure gets itself underway. This is racing on SimSpeed TV. This is sensation on SimSpeed TV, and it's coming up for you in just a couple of moments' time. And Tom Volstra with control at the front. 32 laps then of Road America. They will start right now. It's a big getaway there from Tom Volstra, who absolutely blitzes it off of the line. I wonder if he was too quick as he dives on towards turn number 1 here, looking at all of those drivers behind, trying to file on through. There's dramas in the middle. Was that Yartayan potentially running into troubles in the back of it? Branch is definitely not happy with things at the moment as they go on through. And looking at it, Ewan Meredith, Dennis Branch, there's 5-6 drivers all in trouble, and it's all in the middle of the pack where it's gone wrong. Branch out, Mons out. Nurmela, though, having a very nice run, but Volstra leads.
Yes, exciting start there. Yeah, those guys certainly didn't give themselves any room, and the likes of Javier Rose and Matt Wood are out the back door, so I think we'll catch a replay of that and see exactly what happened, and dissect that. Yeah.
I want to look at Jarl Tayan's perspective first and foremost. I believe that's where we see everything going. There's the get on and go, and there was almost contact there right at the beginning. This is always treacherous for those starts, but it's Tayan where I think we might need to see this. You can see, tries to go for the inside, he taps the back, and everyone, oh my goodness me. I think about 6 vehicles there in this 20-car field, all running into dramas at the back, and it was Tayan with the contact where it all kicks off. He just misses his braking point on the cold tyres, mind you. Yep, there's a tap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then another spinner in the background on his own made 8, who all got caught out at turn 1.
Yeah, unfortunate for those guys, especially the likes of Yartayan and Harvey Rose. Those guys will be absolutely gutted. Matt Wood, who is in the championship hunt, he's sitting back in 18th position now, so not the start that he was after. And if we're looking at him here, he's missing his front wing. I reckon it's going to take a couple of minutes for his pit crew there to fix that car up. So, yeah, day done for Matt Wood.
He'll dive down into the pits then. There's your front drivers right now. Nurmela following in the shadow of Tom Volstra, who's actually just got Christmas a little bit early with everyone running into troubles. Let's try and dissect who's where now. So Volstra at Nurmela Kaiser, 1, 2, 3, no shocks. Daniel Bieder is now up into 4th place. Cedric Beal started 15th and is now in P5. Marquez is in 6th, and Carlos Villegas made the move at turn 1 to get past Jorge Martinez up into 7th and with 8th. And 9th and 10th, Parkinson and Cat are in those positions right now. But there are still charges to be had right now. The likes of Javi Rose, for example, is desperately trying to chase on back to Jarl Tayan and co. as they try and move on forward. But at this stage, early proceedings are seeming like those who are at the back, they dodged a huge bullet.
Yeah, they certainly did, mate. They, stayed out of trouble, and, well, we could see some new names get up on the podium today.
Potentially, but that will have to rely on mistakes from the front 3 who have broken away in the early stages. Focusing on Javi Rose and the drivers behind. There's Tapio Markala in 15th position there in that one. Tom Volstra sets the fastest lap of the race as Markala tries to chase down Thomas Knoll and try and gain that extra position, which in this race is seeming like is going to be incredibly vital with the way that this is all going as they charge on through. As you can see, the massive shake on the camera as all of these very, very aggressive McLaren MP430s drive on through into turn number 1. Such an expansive corner you can very easily get spat out on the exit of, but nowhere near close enough. We are on lap 3 though here, Fonzie, which means that the drag reduction system is fully available, which gives them an extra boost on the straight.
Yeah, here we go, just riding on board with Markela here. He's had some pace all season, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see him pop a move there on Thomas Knoll in the not too distant future. As I was saying, there we go, that section of track very difficult to get right. Knoll just not managing to clip that inside apex. Is Markela going to make a move here? Oh, there we go. He thought about it, had to jump on the brakes out of that turn though, otherwise it was probably going to need a new front wing.
Could have very easily have been game over there for Tapio Markela, but at the moment he goes in towards the fantastic section. There's where you see the dirty air effect coming into play through that right-hander, because he's all over the outside curb there, trying to get some form of turning. You can see actually now they are catching one of those drivers in front, and that driver in front of the train is Ewan Meredith. Javi Rose has already breezed on through Ewan, who's had absolutely nothing for the Spaniard there in that moment in time. So that's going to be a little bit of a worry for Ewan Meredith's race, maybe going backwards. Yaltayan, though, just in front, has found himself in a little bit of a battle. He's got his mirrors firmly, or he's got his eyes firmly forward on Anthony Catt, who's on the medium compound tyre. And just looking at those last laps that they were doing, the difference of 1.4 seconds, Tayan will now surely get the run. Here we go.
Yep.
Down the inside.
Move going to be done pretty easily there. Not much that Anthony could have done there, especially being on that medium compound tyre. It is going to last longer, but yeah, certainly can't hold off that outright speed that Yaltayan has.
Of course, Tayan is going to be on a charge today. He definitely wants to be running back through the field and gaining as many places as possible. Here's Nathan Parkinson. Jorge Martinez did just drop back behind, and this is another battle of medium compound versus soft compound tyre at the moment. You get DRS down this section towards Canada Corner, and at this stage on the brakes, again, not quite able to get into position is Martinez, who is struggling a little bit then in the early stages of this race. 1:37's his lap times are being, but look a little bit even more further forward. Leonardo Marquez in sixth position. He wants fifth here off of Cedric Beale up the hill. He's not going to get it into turn number 1, but he's got opportunities potentially at 3 through to 5.
Yeah, he certainly does, right on the back of it here. Hardest thing is when you're in that dirty air, is, especially through these fast corners, you can't stay on the gas as hard as you would like, and you can find yourself dropping back, and it's looking like we're going to see a move here. He's going to pop it at the inside. Oh, a bit of a dummy there.
The Sonic racing car couldn't get it alongside when he needed to. Cedric Beale has got that vehicle trimmed out, and that's why Leonardo Marquez is maybe struggling a little bit here to make that move happen for the top 5. They have to be careful as well about how much, Fonzie, that they battle, because they are starting to maybe lose a little bit of touch with Daniel Bieder in front. He's 2 seconds down the road, and then you look behind, Carlos Villegas running the low 136s, so that's going to be another little chase and point that we're going to be seeing in this race.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Tom Walstra out in front, 35.6. Then, yeah, we've got Michi Kaiser, 36.1. Oh, there we go. We've got someone's just made a move. That's Javi Rose. We'll just go back and have a look at that.
It's an incredible move, as we will maybe have a little look on these replays brought to you by Motum Simulation. This is how the pass happened. Got a great run here on through the Kettle Bottoms and over towards Canada Corner. Gets the inside. And look at the car who's right in front of him. It's Yaltayan. And that's going to be crucial. Javi Rose is absolutely flying, doing 1:35.4s out there on circuit. He is the fastest man by 0.4 of a second, and now he'll probably think about the double overtake on the medium compound tyre driver that is Nathan Parkinson. So here's going to come the run. DRS activation then for Yartain in the Inex Racing machine. He's down to the inside of Parkinson. I think he's going to have to leave this one open. And the move's done, and a big lock up there from Javi Rose, who very nearly ploughed into the back.
Yeah, there we go. Fantastic move. Plenty of passing opportunities on this track, which was...
There's one.
Yep, there we go. He's already...
Just like that, Javi Rose jumps a place, gains a position, and now we will try and work maybe with Yartain to gain those places. Meanwhile, at the front here, Fonzie, you got Volstra, Nurmler, and Kaiser. It seems like Tom Volstra is just keeping even keel with Nurmler. 1.2 seconds, he has broken DRS reign.
Yeah, you're certainly right. Just holding those guys at bay. And, oh, we're going to saw a bit of smoke there coming off someone's tyres. I'm not too sure what happened there. As we're looking at this battle back here with Anthony Cat Meredith. Oh, one of the cars gone wide, and we've got one of the cars actually gone off the track. So,
yeah, it's Noel.
Okay,
Thomas Noel, who's running into troubles, and he was going into that right-hand bend of Canada corner, just gets into the back of Anthony Cat and loops it around almost himself. Matt Wood picks up place because of it, and there's John Miller III in that mix as well. That brings Markler up position, and Ewan Meredith here, who's running 37s, is just starting to get himself a little bit in the mix. Now, Matt Wood here is one lap down on all of these drivers, so he's in a really awkward spot to try and work out how to really make his way through the field and salvage anything reasonable in terms of points, as I'm just keeping an eye on Javi Rose, who has just dived down the inside of Yartain and has now moved up into 8th place.
Just going to get that one on replay just to see how it all unfolded. Oh, very easy move. Didn't have to work too hard for that one. Now, Yartain just needs to sit behind and work with him. Look after those tyres as much as he can. And, yeah, Javi Rose is a very fast driver. We've seen a phenomenal pace from him throughout the season. And Sperry just points my attention to Marquez. All over the back of Cedric Beale. Has been for a couple of laps now.
He is.
Javi Rose,
searching and
fastest lap of the race.
Absolutely he does, and Javi Rose knows how quick he is. 135.497 he is. 0.4 of a second clear of those drivers around him, but it's Marquez and Beale where the real battle lies at the moment. Again, running close into a couple of tenths of a second here is Leonardo Marquez, but he can't quite find the magic touch to get away through. Needs to set up a good turn number 3 here. He's done quite well, so he might have a good run heading towards turn number 5 through the moraine sweep of 4. But again, he's so late picking up that draft and gaining that place. He gets a sterling run there, but once he hits the braking zone, that's it. Downhill, you have to be committed, and he just wasn't alongside. He's just not picking up the run early enough to make it happen.
Yeah, there we go. So, just looking at our first car to go through the pits now, which we are just catching this on replay. So first stops are starting to happen. Marquez is...
That's rather early for a pit stop here as we look at Jorge Marquez on the Motum Simulation replay, just exiting onto the medium compound tyre. Now, that's an indication of all of these. That is the pass. Marquez through, and Javi Rose is in the grass as well behind. So Yartain gets back through. Javi Rose has found himself in the grass on a mistake as Leonardo Marquez gets through on Cedric Beale.
We're going to have to go back and have a look at that pass. Go back and see how that unfolded, whether or not was Cedric Beale making a mistake. Let's have a look. This right-hander.
This is one of the... Absolutely. This long carousel is such a place where you can find some great moves, and it's all about the exit here, and that leads to the kink corner. And look at how aggressively behind he was. Gets the ability to move then around and get that place. He's down the inside. Now, just behind that, Javi Rose makes a mistake through that same kink corner, puts himself in the grass, and we just catch the end of it there. Yartean going back through on a clearly pushing Javi Rose, who goes through the corner. You can see really does go through the grass. He's so lucky he doesn't tag the wall on the outside.
Yeah, I'll just see that an onboard shot from what actually happened. Oh, I clipped the inside apex wrong. Oh, he was so lucky not to get in the wall there.
And that car control, it could have very easily have snapped on him in a multitude of directions, which would have been the last thing on his mind around this place today. Racing, though, does continue out there on track right now, and someone who is going a little bit backwards is Nathan Parkinson at this stage, because he's just gone straight on at turn number 5, locked up the front, and trying to get it back on the power. He's gone right into the middle of some very big battles. Makela and Meredith going at it, and he very nearly ran himself into troubles with Anthony Katz and John Miller III and Thomas Knoll.
Yeah, certainly. I was expecting to see many accident on this place. It's so fast, and these cars, you can't afford to make a mistake. And if you do, well, generally find the car is not in one piece, unless you're a driver like Javi Rose, who managed to control very high speed off.
Absolutely. Here is that battle for 13th. As we look at the battle for the race lead here, it's now down to 0.7 of a second. Half a second taken off in that last lap by Marco Nurmela, who did a 36 flat to get himself into range. And all of a sudden, Tom Volstra, he's not got the clearest run in this race as he did maybe a couple of laps ago. There is Tapio Makela going the long way, and in fact, he goes the Narnia way to try and make that one happen, because he still waited to try and get back on. I think he may have even clipped the wall.
He did. He's lost his front wing, so he will be absolutely gutted with himself. Let's go back and have an onboard shot of that.
It's so much more than a wing. Well, here's where it goes wrong. Oh, that's a horrible hit into the wall. You effectively can't slow it down enough. You can see he gets an amazing run, gets alongside, and I think he wasn't prepared for how much he has to break into the corner. He locks the inside front, and then in the gravel, you got no turning, and bang, into the fence. That's a tough place to have a hit.
There we go. Tom Volstra has lost the race lead. He's come into the pit lane, however, so will he manage to hold this? You definitely will see those front runners now starting to come into the lane. So what's the stop time gonna be for Tom Volstra?
Well, here's the question, because lap 10, he comes in first of the real leaders to make that stop. But the other question is, how big is that undercut going to be? Yartean will also come down in on lap 10 and try and transfer over to the yellow-walled medium compound tyre, it seems, to go from now all the way to the end. So what's the difference when they get through? Volstra is out and away again on those yellow-walled mediums, and it looks like he's got a whole heap of vehicles in front that he's going to have to try and dispatch on this outlap.
Yeah, well, that's going to be difficult. They don't have to give that any racing room to him. He is racing them for positions, so yeah, this could definitely work in our second place car. Marco's advantage here. Is he going to come in the next lap? We'll just wait and see.
Depends how comfortable Marco Nurmela feels at this stage. That battle is the likes of Miller and Parkinson and Knoll and Matt Wood, who's a lap down, and Volstra is right in the midst of that and approaching up to it as Miller and Cat will be having a fight. Nurmela has decided to stay out then for another lap, as does Michi Kaiser in second position and Daniel Bieder in third. So this is a gamble now for Tom Volstra, who will now have to make some overtakes. Not just one. Well, he'll get one out of the way quickly, because that's Thomas Knoll into the tyres at Canada Corner.
Oh, yes, he will be absolutely gutted about that one. Let's just get an onboard replay of what happened to Knoll there. Oh.
Didn't make the corner, it seemed.
Nah, didn't make the corner. He does have front wing damage, though. And certainly pushed the their front upright in. Go back to live pictures now. He's come in the lane, so closest battle that we have on track currently is Marquez and Cedric Bell.
Absolutely, and that's Marquez now losing the place to Cedric Beale, and he lost that out of the exit of turn 3. He was just fighting the car going through the corner, grabs the curb on exit into the grass, and he's kept all 4 tyres on the road. At what expense, though? He's lost the entirety of the place.
Yeah, there we go. Better to keep it under control and out of the wall. He can come back. We haven't seen him take a pit stop yet, so maybe struggling on that rubber that he is driving on. He is driving on the soft tyre, so yeah, definitely 12 laps in now. He needs to probably come in this lap and whack a new set of boots on it, I reckon.
Seemed like a good strategy. If you can get it to lap 16, if you can push the stint out, some say that's the better option as they go on through. They now have Carlos Villegas on the back, 4th, 5th, and 6th place, but keeping an eye out on Tom Bolstra here, who's through on wood, but he's now behind Parkinson in the geodesic car, which is not going to be ideal. Still no more takers have come onto the lane on this lap, but John Miller III has decided now's the time. I'm stuck behind Anthony Katz and I can't do anything to get by.
Yeah, there we go. Miller going down this very long pit lane. Total pit lane time is around about 34.5 seconds. And a 4.2 second stop for most of these drivers. So we'll see how John Miller comes through here. As he hit his...
Villegas is through.
There we go. He's going to go up on the jacks. And... ooh, a bit longer stop. Maybe a bit of damage, actually, for Miller. Potentially 9.4 seconds.
Front wing change.
Yep, there we go. Wax a new front wing on it. 150 grand. See you later. Let's just chuck a new one on it.
But it is a virtual 150 grand, which means it actually costs a big nothing if you're playing Price is Right rules at this stage. So John Miller third back out and away. Carlos Villegas has gone through, though, on one Mr. Leonardo Marquez, as he has done well. And in fact, Marquez has just gone straight on at the Canada corner, as Javi Rose now would want to get on in and gain those places. Marquez definitely looking like he is due to come down in and make a stop. It seems like Villegas has decided to make that call, and Marquez is really struggling on those tyres. He dives into the lane also.
Yeah, there we go. So, fantastic battles throughout, really. Tom Walstra, he is sitting there, and he's just moved up to P9, so he's going to take some positions with these guys coming into the lane to
Rose
make
in the
their
wall.
stop. Here we go. Harvey Rose in the wall. What has happened here?
He was all on his own into turn 1. He just grabbed the left rear tyre into the grass on entry. He skittles through the gravel and just taps the tyres at the end, able to get it back going again. But now he's with Kat and, crucially, Tom Bolstra.
There we go. So, how hard did he tap it? Ooh, he might have got away with that one, actually, there, Sperry.
I think you call that in the business of racing a member's bump.
Yeah. Something along those lines. Now, Cedric Beale. He's all over the back of Daniel Beater. Here we go. Good pace from him tonight. Cedric's driven a fantastic race. He moves into P3. Job done.
And holds it as well. Job done. Daniel Beater really struggling on the tyres. He lost 0.8 of a second on that last lap, and he's just really fighting against the tyres. You can see he's already lost 1.4 seconds on this lap, and both of them deciding to dive down into the lane, as does your race leader Marco Nurmler, which releases Michi Kaiser into the race lead. Now, this is where the question of where Tom Bolstra is. He's side by side with Javi Rose, fighting him for place, who doesn't want to let him have anything, because of course they are rivals fighting for the championship overall right now. Power on the exit. Rose decides to dive down into the lane. Where is Nurmler? He's in his box. He's up, he's down, and he's going to be away again. And crucially, he's going to be on soft compound tyres to get himself out, away, and crucially, ahead.
Yep. Good strategy there, because I was watching the timing. Tom was held up through there with that traffic that was in front of him, so he was lapping in the mid 37s. So he's got a bit of work cut out for him to be able to get back up to Nurmela, who is 1.5 seconds down the road.
And he's got fresh tyres, and they are fresh softs as well. So watch Nurmela break away, but the question is, will Volstra be able to claw that one all back when time depends on it? And how will Mishi Kaiser maybe favour into the later stages of this race? Meanwhile, with Beal and Beeder's stop, Kaios Viegas has in fact jumped both of them in the stop and has gained places. So there's still a lot to be dissected in this race, as Kaiser, one of the few drivers who has yet to come down in and make a stop, finally does so at the back end of lap 15. And it is worth noting as well, we have just seen a throughput error for Jorge Martinez, who is now out of the event.
It's a shame. Hardware error. One of those things that does happen. Internet connections are very frustrating for a driver. Nothing worse.
They really
than,
are. It's like...
Honestly, it's the worst feeling you can have. You just want to put your fist through your screen. No, don't do that.
Into the box goes Mishi Kaiser. He will fall behind your race leader. That was a lightning quick stop, and away he goes. He'll be behind the likes of Anthony Katz. Volstra has just found a way through there. But look at this, side by side on the exit. He's with Nathan Parkinson. Remember, this is for position as they go through and in towards turn 3. Parkinson on the old medium tyres. He's got nothing to fight on. Brand new out of the box soft.
I tell you what, have a look at Yao Tane's time. His fastest lap of the race. Only one in the 34s.
Incredible. 34.6, 35.7, 34.8. His last few lap times. They are absolutely incredible, and I believe that is Viegas just missing the apex slightly down at turn 5 as well. So he's dropping a little bit of time right now. So everybody is starting to bunch back up into each other. Everybody who's needed to make a stop has done at this stage, but now every place is effectively a battleground at this moment. You talk about where the title rivals are out on circuit. You've got Tom Volstra currently in 2nd position overall on the road. Yaltayan is there in 9th position right now, and Javi Roche, who's had quite a few issues today, is in 11th place. So in terms of the points battle, with Matt Wood as well in 15th, Tom Volstra, he's really hoping that those medium compound tyres come back to him at the end of the race.
Yeah, well, what is our leader? What tyre choice have they gone on? So they are still on the soft tyre choice. So, yeah, those softs are going to be very worn out. So Tom Volstra needs to just play his cards right here. 3.3 seconds separating first and second at the moment. That gap is increasing quite rapidly. But for Marco, his tyres are going to hit a wall probably in about 10 laps time, I reckon. And then Tom should have the pace to be able to claw him back down.
Well, it all depends on when that wall hits. If it's 10 laps from now, then you're talking about a 5-lap window to try and chase down all the time, which is a very tall order. But you have to also remember how long on the tyres Tom Volstra has gone. He's been out there on that set since lap 10 of the event, trying to find maybe a little bit of pace out there on the board, which hasn't been ideal for those who have been trying to chase on forward. You're looking at maybe what times are we seeing from those towards the end. Anthony Katz is probably your best example of someone on the medium tyres late into a stint. He's on lap 17 right now. He's doing mid to late 137s as he's got Mishi Kaiser all over the back of him on those fresh softs saying, "Can I have my podium back, please? I'll be nice. I'll keep it." Up
yeah,
the hill.
You're exactly right, Matt. This is, yeah, it's all tyre choice. I do love the fact that we do have this tyre choice available in this iRacing Grand Prix series. It's certainly brought a whole new dynamic to the series.
Pass.
There's the pass done. So Kaiser into P number 3.
P3, we've got 5 retirements from this race. Sorry, no, we've got 4 retirements from this race. Mons Markela, Knoll, and Martinez all out of the event. 2 drivers a lap down running right now, Dennis Branch and Matt Wood. Every point matters when we have seen attrition values around this, or around some circuits this season, up at 33%. So there could be more dramas on the horizon, but Marco Nurmela trying to break away. He was 9/10 of a second quicker that last time by, and I think if you're someone like Tom Volstra here in this situation at the front, as Tayan is on the back of both Beal and Bieder. Bieder has managed to find a way through, actually, on Cedric Beal in the last couple of laps around this place. You also have to really work out and say, well, we need that cliff to hit really quickly, so I've got a chance of closing this one all back down.
Yeah, you're certainly right, Sperry. Another great battle here. Number 6. All over the back of Nathan Parkinson.
Kaius Viegas, who's trying to get on through on the Geodesic racing driver, who will be taking his way into the pits on lap 18, along with Anthony Catt. Now, that's really interesting in terms of that strategy, only being able to go to lap 18 on the on the medium compound of tyres. That tells you that there's not much in terms of difference between the tyre lives dropping off between, say, Volstra and Nurmela. Remember, Volstra's going to have to go and do 22 laps on that stint of tyre.
Yeah, that's a pretty tough ask, isn't it? His victory is slowly slipping away from him, but it's not over till it's over. And, well, we've seen plenty of things happen in sim racing in the past.
Oh, Tayan.
There we go.
Oh, he very nearly found wall as he went wide at turn number 5. He was up over on that outside line, and he just dipped into the grass, and he got a little bit of a jump going on, which Inex cars have had a history of doing around this place.
There we go. We'll just see if we can catch that on the replay. Oh, could have potentially damaged the underbody during that off there. Let's keep an eye on his lap times.
Absolutely,
Closest
this
battle
is a
on
really,
track. Cedric Beal,
Exactly,
Daniel Bieder.
Yeah, those two in front, of course, Beal and Bieder. Bieder is starting to pull away a little bit in terms of that one, but Tayan will just need to regather himself for a couple of laps. We'll see how those laps really do fare out later on in terms of this stint. But at least for the time being, there has been another change of positions. Javi Rose is now inside the top 10. He made the pass on Ewan Meredith over the course of this lap, and now Javi Rose is definitely trying to chase on down to those in front. In fact, he's in 8th position, and he's 10 seconds behind Jarl Tayan, who is currently classified as being in the 7th place right now. In terms of the front of the field, though, here, Fonty, now this is key to keep an eye out on. Volstra is losing over the last 2 laps, 0.3 of a second each lap. It's a lot further down from the 0.9 of a second it was earlier on in this race, but Michi Kaiser is actually the fastest driver of those 3 at the front. He took half a second out of Tom Volstra.
Yeah, interesting, because I was just watching over this last lap, and the gap between Volstra and Nurmela was 5.3 seconds, and it got down to 4.7. So certainly some areas of the track that each car are benefiting on. But yeah, 5 seconds is going to be hard for him to close up. But Kaiser's coming for Volstra, that's for sure. He can see him in his sights. So we jump on board here with Michi Kaiser.
He is absolutely flying here as we watch on the Motum simulation replay him starting to close down that gap and going through towards the final sections. We move back to live coverage here, ladies and gentlemen, on SimSpeed TV. If you haven't already, you can like, share and subscribe for more amazing sim racing content that will be coming to you. It's 1.8 seconds right now that Kaiser's trying to chase, and it's another 0.6 of a second he was able to take out of that gap. It's under 2 seconds, and crucially, he's also closing in on Nurmela. He's brought that gap down to 7 seconds here with what is going to be, at this stage, when they cross the line, 11 laps to go here at Road America.
Yeah, fantastic battles actually. I thought we would have seen the field stretch out a bit more than what we have. This battle though for second and third is gonna really heat up. We've got 11 laps to go, and well, anyone can make a mistake in these last 11 laps. We've seen a few mistakes from Harvey Rose today. It wasn't the best day racing for him, that's for sure, but still sitting inside the top 10. He's got to be happy with that.
Got to be happy with his pace as well. He is the fastest driver of anybody bar Daniel Bieder at the moment, who's on a 35.2 quickest lap at this stage. Nurmler 36.4 that last time by for him. Crucially for Tom Volstra, 36.2. First lap time we've seen Volstra be quickest on in this stint, and Kaiser a 35.8 brings his gap down by another 0.4 of a second. So they're all starting to reel each other in, which is going to be very interesting. Tayan is back down in on the lane again, and I would not be surprised if that's for hitting the instant point limit.
Yeah, I'm not sure there, Sperry, but yep, I think you're probably right. It's quite easy to get off tracks. Just to stop.
That looks like just a stop to me. So Yard Tayan, nothing really to lose. He's going to go back out there on a set of soft compound tyres and really try and work out a way to get some really nice paces behind Parkinson and Cat & Co at this stage. But that's really weird. He's gone on to a two-stop strategy.
Yeah, very interesting strategy. Is it going to play any benefit from what we're going to see? This gap, though, at the front is really, I think, is Kaiser going to be able to hunt down Nurmler is the big question. I think he's easily going to get past Walstra here. I know Walstra won't make it easy for him, but yeah, there's what 0.4 of a second between Kaiser and Nurmler at the moment in their lap times. Also Cedric Beale. He has some good pace as well, but Harvey Rose 35.2 on the pace. He could easily, or maybe not easily, he could certainly catch Cedric Beale if Beale's pace starts to drop any further.
You can see the gap right there. It's a 36.3 that time by from Harvey Rose. It's about 12 seconds here with 10 laps to work it out. So he's going to have to rely on catching at over 1.2 seconds a lap, which is a tall order at the best of times. But Michi Kaiser, all of a sudden, finds himself on the back of Tom Volstra. He's chasing down half a second a lap, and he needs to be chasing down Nurmler at 0.6, maybe even a bit more. He only took 0.3 that last time by, but you also have to remember here, Fonty, that Tom Volstra absolutely loves trimming out the car to the bare limit, and he's going to be such a difficult customer to get by, mainly because he hits top speeds, DRS or not.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Tom is a fantastic driver. We've seen him win races, and yeah, he's not going to make this easy for Michi Kaiser at all.
Start wondering here, if you're Michi Kaiser, at what point do you pull the trigger and start to attack? Because Marco Nurmler, you're relying on a cliff being hit by the driver up in front. Another 36.2 from Nurmler. Sorry, he's doing really, really good. 36.1 from Volstra is responding, but Kaiser again. 35.7, he's got that gap down to just 0.8 of a second, and would very much like to get through maybe this lap or the next lap to give himself the best possible opportunities to move on forward and gain those places he very much needs to in this race. In terms of some of the other battles that are out there on track, it looks like for the moment Viegas and Bieder are split by about 3 seconds, as is Cedric Beale. They're all lapping pretty similar right now, and they'll be hoping that somebody hits a cliff, and especially on those drivers who are thinking about those tyre life, they all came in pretty early, but at the same time, less fuel in the car, Fonty, means less tyre wear being used.
Yeah, that's exactly right. All of these different factors that you've got to think about as a race car driver, and these cars, well, they're an absolute beast to drive, and yeah, there's so many different buttons and whatnot that you can play around with while you're racing, and they all work towards having a fast car or having a consistent and consistent beast throughout the race.
And it's all about that consistency value around a track which, to put it nicely, is very much not part of the new track building philosophy. Nurmela has just found an absolutely beautiful time. He's just set his fastest lap of the race so far, a 1:35.5, and has just put another half a second between himself and Tom Volstra as Kaiser closes in. Laps like that make Nurmela top of the pops, and there's not really much you can do to stop it. Here will come Michi Kaiser, though. He's got a good run then out of turn 3, and this is where Volstra, I think, is either going to have to put up or shut up in this sort of situation. He is to the right-hand side, and it might be a dive. No, he's not close enough just yet, but look at this around the outside on the brakes. Wow, did Kaiser carry that much momentum?
He got it. Did he get it? No, not quite. Yeah, wow, he made a little bit of a mistake there. He probably could have got it. He was very game, though. Yeah, these cars generally don't have much of a wheel rotation radius.
It was a great effort nevertheless then, but he's now thinking about second place more rather than the fight for the race win overall. He'll have to really hope that Nurmela runs into troubles, but he's just proven that he's under no sorts of circumstance. But he does have lap traffic in front in the form of David Toth in the number 1 car, who, of course, did lose the race victory all the way back at Monza late on in his fight with Ben Fuller. So Toth here will probably just graciously get out of the way. Marco Nurmela will have to find a way on through and do so pretty quickly here. 36 flat that last time by. He'll move to the inside. He'll have to make an actual overtake here on David Toth, and there is that said overtake to move on up and get on through. But once again here, Fonty, it's about Kaiser, who's got himself an opportunity to jump Volstra here into second.
Yeah, here we go, just riding on board. Fantastic drive. You have to be so smooth on your inputs. So much information that they get given to them as drivers. How they have time to look down at that screen amazes me. Is he going to make the same mistake as last lap? No, he's not. But getting the power down is going to be the challenge for him. Tom Volstra driving an absolute fantastic defensive line here.
About the smoothness here as we look at Tom Volstra, the way that he is driving this one, Fonty. You look at the way that he is just taking every corner. He is just smoothly placing his car in the middle of the road, forcing Michi Kaiser to make a decision and make a decision early. And then when he goes for the outside line, which is the more difficult road traveled, he's just driving it just clean and smooth and just well within his limits. The longer that this one goes on, more it favours the medium compound tyre driver that is Tom Volstra.
Yeah, you're exactly right. This is really opening up a gap now to Nurmela, who is 6.7 seconds up the road. So these two fighting, unless Nurmela makes a mistake, the race is pretty much his.
Good climb up the hill, and they also
He's
have to be
get
careful
it this
about
time.
Kaios Viegas behind. Here comes the move over to the inside at turn number 1, and you know what? Tom Volstra's got nothing for it. Michi Kaiser moves up into second position then, and the podium may not even be secure at this stage. Look at Viegas' last lap time. He took a full 7/10 out of Tom Volstra.
Yep, 5 laps to go. That's, yeah, is he going to manage to keep up with that pace? 4.6 seconds is the gap separating these two drivers now. So, it is certainly possible.
And all the way back, P9 and 10, here's Anthony Catt. He's right on the back of John Miller III, and he wants to move up another place and gain another spot, especially late on, as he's got fresher tyres than John Miller in front of him. Parkinson just behind as well, but it's a great run here from Anthony Catt, and he's got a really good opportunity to pick this move up. He looks to the outside line to make it happen at the Moraine sweep. John Miller III's defending this one every stage of the way as they jam onto the brakes and go in through turn number 5. Not doing just yet.
Yeah, pretty tough. Those cars were going side by side. They were on the limiter. Not much you can do in that situation. You're certainly not going to have raw speed to get past them, that's for sure. But these guys are the closest battle that we have on track. Nathan Parkinson, though, he will be hoping these guys fight because he could find himself in the mix of these two guys very quickly as well. Only 1.1 seconds separating Cat and Parkinson.
Exactly, that's going to be key. It is worth noting that Michi Kaiser just took 1.3 seconds out of Nurmela. He's got to take 1.5 a lap from now till the end of this race if he wants to try and get that position. But Anthony Cat again having a really nice run through the right hand and left-handers, and there's a mistake from one Mr. Miller III. He missed the apex at the final corner. Anthony Cat sees the door wide open, and he will look for the chance. They're almost side by side over the line. There was only about 1/100th of a second between them as they crossed, and Anthony Cat gets it nice and cleanly done in towards turn number 1.
There we go. So, small little mistake has cost him there, and we bring Nathan Parkinson into the mix now. 0.6 of a second, the geodesic car. Gotta love the paint scheme on these geodesic cars.
Just look at the pace between them. Parkinson pulled out 1.3 seconds here compared to John Miller III. So there's another mistake. Misses another apex, struggling with that grip. Tough to go around the outside here into the hurry down section. And that one does not work for Parkinson just yet. But he is primed and ready, in position to attack. And look who's on the back of them all. Jarl Teyen, who's doing 1:34 lap times. He'll breeze by both of them in the blink of an eye.
There we go. It's been a fantastic event so far. Lots of passing. Lots of mistakes as well from drivers. I don't think Michi Kaiser's got it in him though, because Nurmela has responded. And we are running out of laps.
Certainly are. Look at Teyen at this stage. John Miller III. Big lunge down the inside at the final corner. Miller's got to leave him some room. And there goes Jarl Teyen up the place. That was opportunistic to pick that one up. He'll now focus on Parkinson and Cat in front. Try and get those positions from now to the end of the race. But the next focuses are with Nurmela pretty much clear now by enough. Volstra versus Viegas. That gap remains at around 3.5 seconds or so. Viegas is not closing by enough to make that a reality come the end of this race, which means that the big battle is right here for Jarl Teyen, trying to salvage points for his championship by gaining on Parkinson and Cat, jumping to 9th place overall.
Yeah, well, it's still not over for our P4 car. Carlos is 3.2 seconds, and he was half a lap faster than Wallstra. Wallstra continues to drop that pace, and if Carlos can just pick it up just a little bit, well, we could see something happen there.
Certainly could. Half a second a lap quicker could be vital. We'll take a look at Carlos's lap over the stripe, and he does a 35.8 as that's a 36.5 from Volstra, who has traffic, which is not ideal. He's got David Toth that he's got to try and find a way by on, as Viegas brings that gap to 3 seconds exactly with 3 laps to go. It's got to be a second a lap from here on in. He knows what he's got to do, but there's a David Toth that's giving Volstra DRS, and that is a nightmare that he did not want to be seeing here with 3 laps to go as he tried to fight for the podium. As we look a little bit further on, as I believe, yes, you're right, there has been an off.
Nathan Parkinson has made a mistake somewhere along the line. Just going to catch what happens here. It's gone, whoa, way too fast. Overshot that one big time. Wonder if there was a
And you don't
potential
get much
hardware
runoff area
failure.
down at Canada Corner. You only get those tyres and the very seldom levels of gravel that you have to try and slow you down. So really, if things go wrong at Canada Corner, well, you may as well be travelling all the way to Canada come the end.
Yeah, I think potentially maybe a hardware failure for him there, because he went in far too deep. He's going to be making his way into the pit lane.
Technically doesn't have to,
Uh,
because he is so close to the end of this race. Even if he does have the black and orange meatball flag, which says you have to come down in and get some damage repaired, you only have 4 laps to serve that. And if you're inside the final 4 laps, which he is, technically he does not need to come in and serve that at any point. He can just try and limp it on around and try and finish the race on the final 3 laps that he's got. 2 laps, though, for those a little bit further in front. Again, that gap at the front is between 3rd and 4th position is down once again by another 0.6 of a second, but that means nothing at the moment. It's got to be a lot more for Carlos Villegas, and I think he is just now on the fringes of time where he can close that down. I think Bolstra's doing just enough.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right, Jake. It's yep, the lap time, the laps have counted down. Harvey Rose
has just spun it at the final corner, and he's lost the place to Ewan Meredith there. So that's 7th position, gets a massive tag of oversteer, tags the tyres right on the end, and ultimately has to go for an oopsie-daisy, spin the car back around, and he's dropped the place.
Have a look at Matt Wood's time up in that top right-hand corner.
Oh, wow. Definitely proven that he could have fought there with a 134.1, but look at Javi Rose. He's all over the back here now, Fonty, of Ewan Meredith.
Yep, Ewan Meredith is certainly under a lot of pressure here. Rose made a few mistakes in this event, which is unlike him, really. But he's been lucky to get away with them, actually, and not put the car into the wall. He may have touched the wall slightly, but certainly not done any damage.
Got very fortunate has Javi Rose. We do start, though, the final lap with Marco Nurmela at the front of the field by 4.8 seconds at this moment in time. 3rd and 4th look like they are pretty much sorted at this stage, but it's the battle 7th and 8th, which is the big key here in the late stages of this one. Has Javi Rose got anything to claw back Ewan Meredith, who looks like he is starting to just break away from the Spaniard right now? There might be just a little bit of damage somewhere that's not really helping out in terms of this. It doesn't look ideal for Javi Rose in the NWS machine, but he knows what he needs to do. He's got to try and close down those 0.8 of a second here on the final lap. He was quicker by 0.3 only on that last pass through. This is the prime place to get it done, but I don't think he's anywhere near close enough to make that a reality here in the final stages of this race. There is, of course, as well, those drivers who have been working incredibly hard to close down those gaps, but someone who could not be close today.
There we go, Javi Rose again.
Corner. There are dramas as Anthony Kat's gone off there wide, and that will bring through Javi Rose, who's run into trouble. He spun it around on his own as he's run himself into trouble on the inside of the curb. Tayan now has found the position through, but Marco Nurmela will now drive to the line, and his race was error 3. He gets himself the race win overall quite comfortably. Kaiser will take 2nd. Volstra will give his championship hopes a big boost with that 3rd place finish, but all deciphering the final stages, Tayan is going to pick one up on Javi Rose, and that, for Javi, has been a 2nd consecutive race he has wanted to forget very much immediately.
Yeah, wow, fantastic there. Drive there by Marco Nurmela.
Oh, he's gone again. Oh. Javi Rose is in the wall again. Couldn't slow it down, and that brings Anthony Cat up a position. And John Miller III will be hoping he stays a very long time in trouble, and he doesn't. But now the question becomes, with so many offs today for Javi Rose, what's his incident count look like? We'll see after the event what he's looking at, but it may be that he drops another 30-ish seconds for going over the 17 incident point limit around this place, because he can't go and serve the drive-through penalty on the final lap. Over the line goes Javi Rose. He will be, for now at least, classified as 10th place as the tyres just completely let go on him.
Yeah, there we go. So a round to forget for Harvey Rose. We will see him come back, though, and be fighting for the front. A little bit disappointing there for Matt Wood. He had some serious pace. Fastest lap of the race at a 134, I should say. 134.183. So, yeah, super lightning speed in that car. Just unfortunately got tangled up at the start there. But well done to Marco Nurmela. Absolutely fantastic drive throughout this event. Didn't put a foot wrong and really showed his ability.
Official classified results then are going to be up on your screen. Everybody is now across the line, and this is how everybody has been able to finish this event. Marco Nurmela picks up the win in 51 minutes and 53 seconds. His margin of victory was only 4.5 seconds come the end over Michi Kaiser. Tom Volstra will pick up a big podium finish. He did start on pole position. He did go on to the incorrect strategy by the numbers, going on to the medium compound, but third place, he'll take some big points from here, knowing that all of his rivals ran into troubles. Carlos Villegas will take fourth place with Daniel Bieder fifth and Cedric Beale rounding out the top six. Ewan Meredith with a great drive up through the field into seventh place. It's worth noting that Carlos Villegas is the biggest mover and shaker in the field. He started 17th on the grid and finishes off in P4. It is Yalte in 8th place. He caused all the dramas on lap number 1, turn number 1, and he has no suggestion of why that happened. His brain probably just went numb, and he couldn't find what he needed, so he only gets 8th place. Anthony Catt, a great drive from him, 9th place today. Javi Rosto finishes up on 15 incident points, just 2 away from a penalty. He will be classified in 10th place at the end of this one. John Miller III is 11th. Leonardo Marquez is 12th. And the final finisher, limping on home, is Nathan Parkinson in 13th position. 1 laps down for David Toth, Matt Wood, and Dennis Branch in this race today, with those retiring from this one: Jorge Martinez, Thomas Knoll, Tapio Markala, and Christoph Montz on the opening lap of this race. So a lot to dissect out of Road America. It's not quite round 4 here in this championship. It is round 9, and round 10 heads to another American classic here, because Fonte, Watkins Glen International next time out, that will promise to be a showcase of top speed.
Oh yes, it certainly will be, and we will see plenty of action. Those are coming up the hill through that left and the right generally causes a lot of accidents, and it's yeah, fantastic place for slipstream and passing. Can't wait to see these cars going zooming around there.
The only place you can catch that is with us, of course, on SimSpeed TV. If you have not already, you can like, you can share, you can subscribe, and catch all the amazing action that goes on all throughout the weeks. We want to push over towards 7,000 subscribers by the end of the year. If you haven't already, now is your chance. But from everyone who's been working on this one, from Moton Simulations on the replays here today, from Scott Fountain, who's been on the cameras and pulling double duty today, mind you, working out incredibly hard behind the microphone. My name's been Jake Sperry, but it's Nurmela's time to take a shine. That was a very confident victory with no mistakes to speak of. But in terms of a championship push, Tom Volstra is going to be taking some points to the bank. Very, very happy with that one he will be. And now it's all about the next stages of this one. Who can chase down when Watkins Glen comes around? We'll move over from Wisconsin to New York State in 1 week's time. We'll catch you then.
This is fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's going in the outside of both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson. Anderson's up top
Oh
here.
my god! Oh! Big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get involved!
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, there we go! Oh no!
That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my god!
God, what?